There have been reports of people getting detained at USCIS interviews, which is highly unusual historically speaking because USCIS is the benefits arm of the Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security is a massive agency that was restructured after 9/11 to include a bunch of different agencies that were historically not a part of the same agency. And now USCIS, which was formerly the INS, is a part of the Department of Homeland Security. And their job is to give you work permits, green cards, naturalization, and to determine whether you're eligible for different benefits. There have actually been some instances of people getting arrested at USCIS interviews, but far fewer than people seem to suggest when they schedule consultations with me. Something I regularly hear from someone who's consulting with me is, I'm hearing all this news about people getting detained at their USCIS interviews. And I'm not hearing that much news like that's credible from actual immigration attorneys that corroborates what people seem to think is the situation. There are a couple high-profile cases of people getting detained at USCIS interviews, but it's not happening as frequently as people think. And I've even seen some other lawyers on YouTube posting videos about people getting arrested at their interviews, and I just can't find information corroborating it. It might just be that I'm not good at Googling things. So anyway, I decided to ask ChatGPT to give me a breakdown from the past 90 days of anyone who may have been arrested at a USCIS interview. The prompt I typed was, browse the internet for any news relating to immigrants being arrested at USCIS interviews during the past 90 days. Create a chart listing the date of arrest, location of the USCIS office, and the reason for the arrest. So a couple of these I knew about, one of them I did not actually. So in April 14th, 2025, there was that Palestinian guy, Mohsen Mahdawi, who was arrested by ICE agents at his scheduled naturalization interview. And ChatGPT says that he was accused of being a threat due to his activism. I personally know that he's been released since then by a judge, but he went through hell and the case is still ongoing. There was another situation in Miami where a man named Jose Aguilar was detained during a routine immigration interview despite having no criminal record. My understanding is that he did have an old deportation order, which would explain why he was detained. I mean, if you're subject to removal and you have a final order, then that's low-hanging fruit. Although ChatGPT didn't say this, maybe it didn't happen within the past 90 days, there have been other reports. In fact, USCIS issued a press release themselves indicating that they detained 3 different people at a USCIS interview in Miami. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there. There aren't a ton of details. I know one of them was a visa overstay. One of them had a removal order, and I don't know exactly what the situation was with the third person, but these were all in Miami. There was one in Chicago where an individual was arrested during an asylum interview due to a flagged case for potential fraud and significant criminal history. So there was a reason. You know, the only one here so far that didn't really have a reason, like in my opinion, a justifiable reason, was the Palestinian guy in Vermont who was attending his naturalization interview. That was just, BS. That should not have happened in the United States. And the last one was March 25th, 2025 in Somerville, Massachusetts, where a Tufts University student was arrested near her home, reportedly due to her criticism of Israel's actions in Gaza. This isn't exactly responsive. This isn't specifically at a USCIS interview. So there were only 3 actual instances that ChatGPT was able to tell me from browsing news sources from the past 90 days. If you guys are just thinking like, hey, this guy doesn't know how to use ChatGPT, let me know below, because if you can show me other instances where people were detained at USCIS interviews, I can do another video explaining whether or not that arrest or detention was reasonable under the circumstances, because oftentimes people have a removal order, people have significant criminal history, And, you know, aside from that, we are seeing instances of pro-Palestinian activists getting detained and arrested, which is more of a political thing in this moment. But the majority of people are not Palestinian protesters, so I don't see that happening on a large scale. All right guys, the purpose of this video was kind of to like lower the volume level a little bit on the fear of people getting physically arrested at USCIS interviews. But on the flip side, recently there was some guidance issued that USCIS is gonna begin going after visa overstays, and guidance sent to ICE offices saying that they need to dial up their enforcement activities to go after people in more creative ways to ramp up their deportation numbers. So all things taken together, I understand why people are afraid attending their USCIS interviews, but I will just end by saying right now, in June 2025, as of the time that I'm posting this video, I have no reason to believe that the average person with no significant criminal history, no history of major immigration violations or a deportation order or immigration fraud should be afraid to attend their USCIS interview. I know that a lot of people are saying you should always attend with an attorney. And attending with an attorney is probably not gonna change the outcome if they are intent on detaining you at your interview. Your attorney will just be there while they detain you. I'm not saying don't go with an attorney, but I'm also saying that hiring an attorney just because you think it'll avoid you getting detained might not be exactly how things play out. So, you know, take that into account when you're making these decisions. If you guys personally need assistance with an immigration matter, you could always reach out to me. The information for consultations is in the video description below. If you guys want to stay up to date on immigration changes, policy changes, or just get an immigration attorney's viewpoint on everything that's happening, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.